How you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today I'm going to do the second half of Giant Size X-Men #1, the first appearance of the new X-Men by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum. So, here we have this wonderful Dave Cockrum art. I'm just being a little careful because I really don't want to rip this. And we are at Chapter 3. Okay? So here, if we remember a little bit of quick catch you up, is Cerebro, Xavier's mutant detecting magic science machine, picked up a super powerful mutant on the island of Krakoa. I forget exactly where Krakoa is. I think it's like somewhere near Indonesia. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure if I reread this, I would remember. But anyway, the old X-Men went to Krakoa to find the mutant. They were quickly captured and defeated, and Cyclops panicked and left. He was rendered powerless and went back. And now they assembled a new team of X-Men to find the old X-Men. Okay, so now here's the new team of X-Men caught up. So there's the island of Krakoa. They're landing, and this new team is not like it's not like the original team. The original team bickered stuff like that, but they were all invested in each other. These are like older. They have their own backgrounds. They have their own wants and needs and desires and personalities, and they're not what's the idealistic teenagers, stuff like that. So we have Sunfire, who's arrogant, an adult. He runs a business, and I think he's connected to the imperial family of Japan. So he's arrogant, working with peasants and stuff like that. Kurt Wagner is a very humble carnival. You know, he worked at a carnival because of the way he looks. You know, he's furry. That's his. And notice he didn't teleport yet. Okay, I'll pay attention to see if he actually teleports, because he was Dave Cockrum's favorite character, and he was accused of like giving him more powers on the fly because that was his pet character. That's Banshee. He's older. He's probably in his late 40s, early 40s, you know, somewhere in his 40s. He's he's like a retired Interpol agent at this point, so he's already established. I was gonna say Conan. What the hell's wrong with my brain? Colossus, you know, Peter Rasputin. He's like a 18, 19-year-old farmer from Siberia, and look at him with the big smile on his face. So he's like taking this, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I already talked about the Mego toys. I had these statues as a kid. I had that one. I had Daredevil, and I think I know I had Thor. I don't know if I had the Spider-Man. So get some grit. Did I skip a page? Yes, I did. Okay. And I'm trying to be very ginger with this. I'm sure you guys can appreciate that. So Colossus, Storm, I don't think knows what Colossus can do. She panics and grabs him and carries him down, and they're like, okay, so these are the two who, without the ability to fly down. So Banshee flies down carrying Nightcrawler, Storm flies down carrying Colossus, and I just love his new visor. So they land, and what happened to the jet? It's gone. That's impossible. The ground hasn't swallowed up, but you're absolutely right. Look at that structure, all right? And I'm going quick because it's a big cut. So here's John Proudstore is captured, and Cyclops is captured, blasted out. And Marvel superhero stick-ons, motorcycle mechanics. Like I keep talking about the advert to play guitar, the advertisements. You know, I guess comic book readers were different. Like mechanics, become a police officer, go fishing, BB guns. You know, back in the 70s. It was before the internet, so I guess people going outside and a lot of outdoor activity. So he's like, "Thank you, but you didn't need to save me." And then he transforms into Colossus, and he takes the tree, bats everything away. She uses the wind. You know, how could a wind pick up these rocks? But I don't want to get like Chris Claremont was a little bit more logical and consistent with their powers. Len Wein is you know, little bit fast and loose, and you'll tell by the solution. So they're finding out that even the fauna on the island is mutated. So the flora attacked them, and now the fauna has attacked them. And I think through the internal dialogue, they find out that we'll get to that yet. Okay. So here's Wolverine jumping up and attacking a crab. So Len Wein created Wolverine, and at the time, you know how they do like a I can't even think of the word, but when they in the room and they just go with every idea. So at the time, he was supposed to, one of the original origins, the unused origins for Wolverine, was that he was supposed to be an actual Wolverine that mutated into a man, and then he was supposed to be just a fighter, and these gloves had claws that were like just built into the gloves, and and then it wasn't until the X-Men comic that they kind of fleshed out what Wolverine is. And also note, the only power that they're talking about, they're not talking about his heightened senses or anything like that. They're just his claws, because this is really only his second appearance. He is Banshee, but this is like Banshee's second or third appearance. So his power is like a high-pitched scream, that sonic attack, sonic abilities. And what he uses, he could create like I don't know, his whole body vibrates and he could fly. So I don't know how he could fly, but that's how he flies. So he uses these glider wings to stabilize his flight. Just like Storm uses this big bulky cape, so when the wind blows, they catch on the cape and help propel her. So here goes. They took out the crabs. And here's Nightcrawler. Notice that he's still not... Is he teleporting? No. That's Sunfire blowing up all the... So he's still not teleporting. So here he comes, just jumping around, being agile, while Sunfire is blasting everything. So I definitely think that Len Wein and Dave Cockrum didn't think that he could teleport yet. Otherwise, he would be teleporting, right? And he definitely can't do the invisibility powers yet. So here they are, they're going in the temple, and Quarum, Colossus busts their way in, and here, this is the old X-Men all trapped by vegetation. Angel, Polaris, Havoc, Iceman, Jean Grey. Okay, page 37. So here they are. They're pulling them out, trying to revive them. Karoom. I like reading the sound effects in case you couldn't tell by now. Note the sparse colors. See a little arrow coming down because it's not really clear which way you're supposed to go, so they give you a little visual clue. You come down here. Little comic book. When you read, you start here and you make like a line like that. And that's how you also read the word balloons too. So, top first, then bottom, but right to left. So this is actually the cleanest my hands have been in a while. So here we go. That's Krakoa. That's the embodiment. And they find out that the mutant is the island itself. So images flood the mutant minds as they stand rooted to the spot. The sunburst brilliance of an early atomic test, whose unseen radiation permeated every living organism until they grew linked to a colony intelligence that gave the island a life of its own. And Krakoa grew hungry, then hunger barely appeased when the X-Men arrived on the scene. And Krakoa fed upon the mutant energies and grew hungrier. Thus it released one X-Men and sent them forth for more food, which Cyclops did. So it was all a trap. Krakoa tricked them. He's feeding off the X-Men's energy, which is why Cyclops lost his optic blast while he was there. And he released him to go and find more food. Go get more food. So Krakoa's telling them all this. I'm going to eat you, and shooting blasts. And now they're all free. Here comes Iceman, Wump, Sunfire's blasting, Banshee's screaming, Angel's flying around, Storm's summoning lightning. And I love this picture. Look at that. That's everybody. There's Wolverine over there slashing, screaming Banshee, fire, Cyclops blasting, Colossus punching, Thunderbird punching, Nightcrawler doing what Nightcrawler does, and him just still flapping around, and Storm's firing some lightning. So now they're talking to Xavier, who kind of is always in mental contact with them. And I don't know if they showed it or not, but he kind of has these machines back in the base that amplifies his power, so he could keep in contact with the X-Men all over the planet, screaming. And so he has an idea. He's battling Krakoa mentally to keep it stunned, so Krakoa doesn't just kill them all outright. So while he's being stunned, Storm is charging the atmosphere. Again, who knows what, power, still power. So she's building up a storm, ions are gathering, and then Polaris, whose power is magnetism, ions are electrical charges, and electrical charges is basically magnetism. So she's gathering up electrical ions. She's harnessing the ions, and he's like, "You can't do that. This much power could kill her." Now, Havok, Alex Summers, and Lorna Dane Polaris, they're a couple at this point. "You can't do it. You can't do it." He's like, I can't sacrifice a world to save one woman, Alex, even if she is the woman you love. I swear to you, brother, no. I swear to you, brother or no brother, if she dies," and then the thought is unfinished. So here she is. She's summoning all this electrical energy, as guided by Xavier, and the Blinket Beastie's getting stronger. So he's passing out from the effort, and Havok is gonna blast Lorna free because this ionic magnetic charge is getting too powerful. So Cyclops actually blasts the energy out of the way, so she doesn't get free. And then whatever, they make like a magnetic pole that cancels out the magnetic poles of the Earth, and somehow magically, magic science, that cancels out gravity, and it pulls the island into the stratosphere, and the Earth rotates around with Krakoa and gets flung into space. Right? Perfectly normal, right? Makes sense. And then because the island is ripped out, the water is compensating, falling back in, and Iceman makes an ice floe, and then they're all using their powers like a motorboat to jettison out. And so the islands get thrown into space, they get pushed away, and blah, blah, blah. Inverse power of the tachyon pulse. They're all getting tossed and turned, and they're all saved. Yay! And who are these new people? Now the introductions are in order, and they're flying away in the Stratojet when the Doomsmith strikes. Find out next issue. So next issue is actually X-Men 94. So this is a giant size that happens outside of the regular comic, and then the next issue is X-Men 94, and that's the first comic book with the new X-Men. They fight Count Nefaria, and Count Nefaria I already showcased in Avengers 165. Now this is a reprint of X-Men 43. So this is just Cyclops. So now they just fill in the hymns. I'm not going to go through this. This is just an old, like I said, a lot of the X-Men comics were kind of bold. These were backups in the original comics, and this is just a solo story of Iceman, originally presented in X-Men 47. Look at that psycho face, and he's just explaining his powers. So that's all these are. It's just little, him talking to the reader. He's friends with finished. And then the last one is Jean Grey, X-Men 57. So she's this backup in the back of that particular comic. She's just explaining her powers. Okay. So Deadly Genesis. This is the genesis of the new X-Men. So in a recent Marvel comic, and I don't know if I have it or not. I must have, because I read it. They retrofitted another team of X-Men, and what they said was, so the original X-Men got captured by Krakoa, and they're saying that Charles Xavier, and I think while Cyclops was still imprisoned, I don't know, I forget the details. I got to find that comic. They assembled a team of X-Men to go in, and we never heard from them again. And one of them being Vulcan, which was the lost Summers brother. So there's another team of X-Men that are just completely lost. That I guess and if they did do that, then that's pretty crummy that they never told these guys, like, listen, you guys are like the next team, because we already lost 2 teams of X-Men. But I guess they're heroes. They would have won anyway. So notice Nightcrawler didn't teleport. His power was super strength and invulnerability, so he's like a lesser version of Colossus. And then Wolverine, all he did, he's guy with claws. Their personalities aren't created yet. They're still like forming. But it's a great comic. This issue is in the history books as far as importance, and not just comic books, but I think in American culture. I do think comic books are an important part of American culture. But there you go. I'm a weirdo that way. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a little shorter than the other one, but this is Giant Size X-Men #1. Super important, pivotal, key key comic book in Marvel history and all comic book history. Hope you enjoyed that. Please thank you. Please thank you. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate your time. All right. Bye-bye.